Summer concerts, pool parties, chill nights under the stars. We're stocking up our closet so you're ready to look your best for all of it. At Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston, we're buying all things summer. So bring in your tees, tote bags, sandals, sunglasses, and more. We pay cash on the spot for gently loved name brand looks. Plato's Closet is the go-to destination for trend-forward teens and young adults who support local and shop sustainable. Visit Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
The following program is paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Hey, how's everybody doing out there? Even though we got rained on a little bit last night down there at the magical and unique, really top, we are just saying we are the top concert series in the United States. The Atlantic Care concerts on the beach. The skies did clear and the magic prevailed. And it was not only a nice, temperate night, but Bywater Call was magnificent. You're going to hear me talk more and more about the jam bands, the funky jam bands, the New Orleans jam bands, the roots rock jam bands. We have a group that's one of the greatest in the world opening on the boardwalk on the 26th of June. And I mean, you get an opportunity to see this. Just go up on the boardwalk at Mardi Gras on the boardwalk in AC, opening night, Wednesday, June 26th, and see a band like the band we had last night, Bywater Call, that opened up the series for us. Youth, but excellence, all schooled musicians, fabulous performers, a six-piece group. They killed it. And, you know, for the old school people out there, they're playing a lot of our old school stuff. They're just jamming it out. They're playing extended, jazzy, improvisational jams. That's why we call it jam. And it's a magnificent thing to see. And they're young and they're youthful and they're attractive and they kick it. And you don't want to miss, while I'm on the subject, absolutely one of the finest jam bands. The piano from Savannah, Victor Wainwright and the Train. I am telling you, they are some of the finest young musicians in the world. Some of those guys on that stage are like under 30 years old, and they are incredible. On the boardwalk, you know, that all starts too. We're so focused on Summers Point because we have so many successes in Summers Point, and everybody loves it so much. But I have 11 of the best bands in the world. Actually, I shouldn't say 11 because we have about 16 or 17, because some nights we have two great bands performing at the same time. So I'm very excited about this season, especially over there in Atlantic City. The big beach concerts are gone, okay? But the free shows every Wednesday night are world class. Devin Allman, Dirty Dozen, Samantha Fish. We have a show coming up over there that is just Stanley Jordan, who was on Billboard charts for like 54 weeks, okay? Stanley Jordan plays the music of the Grateful Dead. And it is unbelievable what's going to be happening. And we have the beer garden on the boardwalk, too. But back in Summers Point, we've got a movie. And I don't know. I'm going to put my next guest on the spot and ask him if he's going to go with my working title for the movie. But the movie started with the mind of this great cinematographer, a truly talented producer, the New Jersey State producer for PBS. And his name is Stephen Rogers, and it is a privilege and an honor to work with you. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Carmen. I was wondering who you were talking about when you were saying this amazing cinematographer and filmmaker. I was like, oh, I wonder who this is. I appreciate it.
Well, how did you come to do this? You reached out to Summers Point, and they immediately got a hold of me. As you know now, a month or two later, you know why they immediately got a hold of me.
Indeed.
Here we go.
Well, like everything with the show that I produce, it's always, typically something that I'm wondering about or thinking back on, a memory, a curiosity. And I was telling someone about the movie Eddie and the Cruisers and about that summer of '84. The film came out in September of '83. It was in the movie theaters for 2 weeks. And it didn't do well at the box office. Summertime movies, obviously don't do well in the box office when the summer's coming to an end. Kids are going back to school. So luckily for the film and for fans of the film, it was resurrected by HBO in the early days, I would say, of HBO. And as I told you before, in that summer of '84, it felt like Eddie and the Cruisers was on HBO every day. My siblings and I would watch that film over and over again, reciting the lines from it, and it felt good to us because it's rare that Jersey is represented by Hollywood. So when it is, particularly one that's about the Jersey Shore and about what it is to be cool and young and a rock star, well, we just kind of grabbed onto that film and kind of wrote it out through the whole summer. It also happened to be the summer that Born in the USA came out. So it was an exciting summer to be a young person, a person who loves rock and roll in New Jersey. So, but Eddie and the Cruisers, that movie is just forever linked in my mind. And I think the minds of a lot of Jersey kids at heart.
I love working with you because we think so much alike. And when I get into a discussion about John Cafferty and Beaver Brown, I inevitably say, no, he's not like Springsteen. He is Springsteen. He is that sound. Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes, Bruce Springsteen, Asbury Park. We were doing it in Summers Point a long time before Springsteen was doing it up in Asbury Park. And they were doing it in Wildwood, and they were doing it in, up and down the Jersey Shore. But Tony Mart's in Summers Point was the place that actually took us through from the late swing, early R&B, race music. We're the place that had Bill Haley playing music that was originally recorded and produced in New Orleans by black people, So you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about. And
sure do.
When you saw what we were doing here with John Cafferty, because he is one of the greatest rock and rollers in the world, and I'm sure that if Bruce Springsteen were in this conversation, I am sure that Bruce Springsteen would agree. They have immense respect for him. Southside Johnny was in the movie. He was at our club. I remember. This is the real deal. It's just that Springsteen's the one that became mega, but that doesn't mean that the rest of them weren't tremendously important and artistically contributing to this East Coast Jersey Shore rock and roll experience, right?
Very true. And, that's one of the things I loved about that movie. It's authenticity. Now, I know that some scenes they claimed were shot in Jersey. I know that there's a scene where they say, they're in Asbury Park. I don't know if it was or wasn't. Nothing truly is identified in the film for it being in Asbury Park. But lots of the places in the film were indeed, as you know, filmed in Summers Point, Atco, New Jersey, etc. And it just feels authentic. It felt authentic to me as a kid, and it was a rare experience to feel that way. And John Cafferty, that tape, we had that tape, and that's back in the day of cassette tapes. We had that cassette tape in my parents' tape deck probably the entire summer. I always joke and say, I don't know how the tape made it through the summer because we had it playing so much and in a hot car. But we listened to those songs over and over again, just as much as we listened to Springsteen's Born in the USA that summer. And to be honest, I love Springsteen, don't get me wrong, but I felt like that John Cafferty's soundtrack had more of a Jersey Shore authentic rock sound to it. I'm more of a fan of early Springsteen, but so the music of Eddie and the Cruisers really hit home for me, and continues to, actually. I mean, I challenge anybody to listen to that soundtrack today and not listen to it all the way through. It's great music. It is, and it's got a feeling too.
A perfect example of that is Boardwalk Angel. Okay, Jersey Girl is mega, mega huge all over the world, and rightfully so. But Cafferty's got that song Boardwalk Angel, and it's got tunes. And, you know, Cafferty has tunes, and Springsteen had Clarence Clemens, but the Clarence Clemens Foundation gave the Lifetime Achievement Award to Tunes, Michael Tunes and Tunes, for being the greatest rock and roll sax player. And that's what we're talking about. And we're going to have all of this live in real time Wednesday night, the 3rd of July, on the Boardwalk in Atlantic City at 7 o'clock. And then Thursday, the 4th of July, with you making the movie on the beach in Summers Point. And then we're going to do a show down in Cape May. If people are headed to Cape May or they miss those shows because they're away for the 4th of July, we're going to do a show August 3rd in Cape May with John Cafferty. And we're going to have a VIP section and all kinds of things happening down there. So we've got Cafferty coming 3 times. Why? Because we can. He's still as great as ever. Now, we're going to start this Friday on the 21st, right on Bay Avenue before Billy Walton. I know you're looking forward to seeing Billy Walton. He is our Jersey Shore rock and roll guitar hero himself. But we're going to start interviewing people, and we want to invite everybody who has an Eddie and the Cruisers story to 800 Bay Avenue, Tavern on the Bay in Summers Point, to meet with you and to give you an interview.
Indeed, yeah, we're going to be there. Cameras rolling. We want to hear the stories that people have about their memories of that summer and that shoot that Marty Davidson, Michael Paré, Tom Berenger, all of them that they did down there. And I'm certain that there are folks down there in the Summers Point area that still have stories to tell, memories to share. And we're going to give people a chance to step up and sit down in front of the cameras and appear in this documentary. It's not just about it's really not just about the movie. It's about the memories. The movie was a movie about memories, if you remember. It was supposed to take place in the early 80s, looking back on the early 60s. So this documentary of ours is kind of redundant in a way, because we're looking back on the 80s and the movie that's supposed to take place in the 60s. So what I want to do is I want to hear people tell me the stories, not only of anything that they remember of that time when the film came to Summers Point, but I want to hear a little bit about who they were, what they did, what their lives were like in the 80s. So I ask anybody who's listening in today to make their way over and meet up with us. It's going to be pain-free. You're going to sit down, couple of cameras, microphone, and we're going to have a conversation. It's nothing to worry about. You just kind of spin your yarn about what it was like back there in the 80s. We'd love to hear from you.
In those days, Steve, you're going to laugh, but when they first came to me with the movie, they said, it's like, where were you in 62? That's the kind of movie it's going to be. Where were you in 62? So, of course, now, 42 years later, we know where we were in 82, and that's why I gave you that working title that I gave you, because that's the way I feel. Are you going to keep it?
Oh, gosh, I never know, because you know what happens, Carmen? We might interview somebody, and they might say, boom, they might say something. And I say, you know what? You just told me what the movie's about. Right now, that's the working title because you said it, because you had that thought, because the second film was called Eddie Lives. And so your working title for this project is Where Eddie Lives. And I guess I challenge you to ask you a question. Do you think the spirit of Eddie and the Cruisers still lives there in Summers Point?
There's no place else. There's no place else. The name of the working name of the documentary movie that Steve is making is Where Eddie Lives. And there's no question Eddie lives in Summers Point. He lives in Billy Walton, who will be on the stage. We still think Billy Walton may be Eddie Wilson. And he lives in the hearts and the minds and the souls and the spirit of this legacy community, my family's legacy. And that's why I do this all the time. I certainly don't do it because I'm getting rich doing it. Eddie lives here in Summers Point, man.
I have a feeling if you listen closely on a quiet night, you can still hear Tender Years playing in the wind. I bet.
Absolutely, you can. So this is the first of several interviews. I don't want to keep you too long because I know that I'm taking you from time with your mother that you're spending.
That is right.
But we will be together on Friday. Is there anything you want to add now about between now and Friday? Obviously, you'll be on the beach on July 4th, and we may some people may be around on the 3rd. You're going to be around, right, on Wednesday night the 3rd on the boardwalk.
We're intending for sure.
And we have a bar there on the beach in Summers Point. We're not allowed to drink, but we have a bar, the Tony Mart Cares Beer Garden, which all goes to my 501c3 that helps musicians, actually help Tunes. The sax player, we helped Tunes when he had to have his mouth rebuilt. So,
gotcha.
This is what it's all about.
Well, I guess the only final thing I would say is I would just continue to urge people to come out on the 21st to share their story. We're going to be there filming in Summers Point on the 4th, and we're going to be filming the concert, and we're going to be filming some. Well, I don't want to say who yet because we're not entirely sure, but we're going to be filming some of the folks from the film, and it's going to be exciting. But the opportunity for locals to have their say, and I do love having that, is on the 21st before the Billy Walton show. Come on out and join us for a little conversation about the past.
And Steve, I'm glad you mentioned that. We still don't know how many major names or personages may show up, but we do know that Marty Davidson, the original producer, who paid me enough money to pay a lot of bills in May of 1982, so I'll always love that guy. He's going to be a part of it, and I guess did you speak to the drummer, Kenny, up there in New York?
I have not, no. And Marty actually was the director.
Oh, director,
not the producer. He was the director. He was the man with the vision for the film, so It's important to make that distinction. But we have talked to quite a few folks, including Michael Paré, the man himself, Eddie Wilson. So I can't say for certain who's going to be there, but there is a lot of excitement around this 4th of July show. But yeah.
Well, all I want to say to you, my friend, is I am very grateful and really delighted to be working with you, and I thank you. And we're doing a hell of a job, and Summers Point is so behind you. The mayor, the city council president, Janice Johnston, who's going to be on the show in a little while. We are where Eddie lives, and you're going to show the world that, man. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. We'll have you on. We'll have you on again in another week after we do our next installment.
Happy to do it.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend, Carmen, and everybody at the Jersey Shore.
Enjoy your weekend with your mom. God bless you.
God bless you, too. Be well.
The great young, he is the producer for the state of New Jersey for public broadcast system, national public broadcasting. And therefore, it's a lot of very creative stuff. As he mentioned, Janice Johnston is going to be on the show later on because she is the one that really is responsible for this taking off, because they contacted City Hall, and as soon as Jason told Janice about it, Jason, the city administrator, told Janice, she got a hold of us, and they subsequently spoke with several of us, and then it just took off. We started doing all of this, and we are so proud of what's happening. But we know that this beach concert, as I was just saying, it is the legacy of Summers Point, the legacy of Tony Mart's. And we are now, for the second year, the top in the country. Yes, another concert series did nose us out for number one this year, a group that belongs to a corporate resort company, a internationally traded company, Vail Resorts, I believe. So they did manage somehow to nose us out. Sometimes groups like that use professional marketing groups, and there's ballot stuffing going on. Or I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying that we were number one in the country last year, and this year we're number two in the country. But last year, Vail Resorts wasn't even heard of in the voting. So we feel that between number one last year, number two this year, and the fact that they weren't even around, we have the right to say that we are the tops. And that's how that goes. I want to clarify that for everybody. I want to thank Stephen Rogers for doing such a great job with that. And I want to move on to so many things we have going on. For the first time ever, Tony Mart is going to be a part of the Big Easy Cruise. And the Big Easy Cruise is going to sponsor the Atlantic Care Concerts on the Beach in Summers Point. And the Big Easy Cruise is going to sponsor Mardi Gras AC on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. The Big Easy Cruise, you could just go to, I believe it's BigEasyCruise.com, or search Big Easy Cruise. And it is a cruise similar to the legendary Rhythm and Blues Cruise, or some of the other major themed cruises, the Malt Shop Cruise, the Jazz Cruise, the Disco Cruise. There's a lot of themed music cruises with live themed music. With live performances. But this one is distinguished by the fact that it has most of the great New Orleans music, and beyond New Orleans music, people like Keb Mo are on it, Devin Allman, I believe it's Allman Betts, right? That's on the cruise. This is an incredible way to see all of the greatest bands. Irma Thomas, she doesn't go out much. She was on the stage with Mick Jagger singing "Time Is on My Side," which was her original song that she recorded, and left bad blood between her and the Stones for years. But that all ended at Jazz Fest this year. But that's the kind of thing you're going to see on the Big Easy Cruise. Tab Benoit, Johnny Sansone, so many of the greatest people from New Orleans are going to be on that cruise. And it's so much fun because all you got to do is just get up and hang out. Go to the buffet and get your eggs Benedict or your waffles and roll outside or roll inside It's really a fabulous experience, and I want everybody to check it out. I mean, it is a luxury thing. It's not cheap, but it's not that expensive either. When you think about, let's put it this way, people pay more money to go on some boring cruise down a river where you have to play board games because there's nothing to do, and you can be on this with incredible excitement and good times. So we're on board with it. The Big Easy Cruise, you can go to bigeasycruise.com, I believe it is, or you can certainly Google it easily. January 5th from Fort Lauderdale. So it works great. You can go down there at the beginning of January, go on a week to the Caribbean, and see some beautiful resorts. Nancy and I have been on cruises most of our lives together, and that's a great time of the year. Cool, beautiful, generally very clear and nice. The Big Easy Cruise. We're going to be talking about that a lot, but I want everybody to know that they are on board now with Tony Mart Presents Mardi Gras on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, and they are a sponsor of the Atlantic Care concerts on the beach in Summers Point. Now, right after 4th of July comes Mardi Gras in July in Summers Point. And for you country music fans, this is a major, major thing because we have one of the greatest. In fact, he may well be the greatest, certainly the most famous of all the Cajun fiddlers. You know, since the days now, Doug Kershaw is gone, and the famous old Cajun fiddlers. This guy, Waylon Thibodeau, played for 30 years on Bourbon Street. So he knows how to have a good time. He knows how to party on stage, and it will be a really fabulous party night on the beach on the 5th of July. And along with him, we have Ben Levine's New Orleans Rhythm and Blues Band, who are going to be playing all the New Orleans sounds, Dr. John, Alan Toussaint, Fats Domino, Professor Longhair. It's New Orleans on the beach in Summers Point, Friday night the 5th. So it's an incredible run. The 3rd on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, John Cafferty and Beaver Brown. The 4th, making the movie with Steve Rogers on the beach in Summers Point. And the 5th, back on the beach with a phenomenal Waylon Thibodeau. You owe it. If you're a country music person or you want to hear the real deal and just so entertaining, you want to see him. And you can see him again on the 8th of July, which is the Monday at the Point. Tony Mart has revived the old Jersey Gumbo cook-off thanks to our dear friends at the Point. The Point is the place, the hippest, most beautiful and wonderful tiki bar, palm tree laden kind of tropical nightclub right on the water there where Bay Shores used to be, across from Tony Mart's. And we're doing shows there every Thursday with the Billy Walton Band. Tony Mart rocks the Point with our own Jersey Shore rock and soul guitar hero, Billy Walton. And that's 6 to 10. And it is such a wonderful, on a nice, when it gets hot, this is the place to be because it's always 4 to 8 degrees cooler or more down there with a breeze coming off the bay. I know. I grew up there. My family used to own part of that land at one time. But it's going to be every Thursday night, Tony Mart rocks the Point. My good friends at the Point with the great Billy Walton Band, full rock and roll band, one of the hottest. We're talking about this legacy of Jersey Shore rock and roll. This is it. Billy Walton was a juke, once a juke, always a juke, and this is rock and roll at the Jersey Shore. And we have it at the Point every Thursday. And I can't say enough. The Point has donated, they are the largest single business donor of $5,000 to the Atlantic Care concerts on the beach. These are the kinds of people we're talking about. And we have many great sponsors. The Anchorage, now that Mr. Fitzgerald, Michael Fitzgerald, has taken over, they're throwing money. Great people are throwing money at us, and we need sponsorship. It's for only $500. Two families can get together, like Pat Pearson and Marion McVeigh, throw $500 and be a sponsor of the beach concert. Of course, you can also throw money in the bucket, but we have an unbelievable season. I mean, right off the top of my head, we have the doubleheader with Dana Fuchs and Patty Balbo, Ladies Night Out, incredible night of female vocal performance with the international star off-Broadway, the Beatles film Across the Universe. Check out that movie. We had Dana on. And then Phantom Blues Band with Curtis Delgado and Heather Little Mama Hardy. That's a total 3-act blues festival. Okay, and Phantom Blues is funk. Phantom Blues is jazz. Phantom Blues is roots rock and roll. A lot of songs going back to the 50s and 60s that people remember so well. We love Phantom Blues. That'll be on the beach on the 19th. And then on the 26th, I cannot overstate, and you will hear me talk about it a lot, the Tony Mart Legacy Last Waltz. This is our version of the movie that Martin Scorsese made about the band and Bob Dylan. With all the guest stars, you'll hear performances of the songs that were done by Clapton and Van Morrison and Neil Diamond and Neil Young, and just an incredible show. The biggest, most complex show. We're flying in major headliners, Dave Malone from the Radiators and Mark Mullins from Bonarama, major headline bands to do this show. It'll be like an 8-9-piece show with a full horn section. The legendary, the Tony Mart Legacy Last Waltz. You understand, they left Tony Mart in 65. In 76, they disbanded because Robbie Robertson had enough and moved to L.A. and became the producer that he ultimately was. So this is a part of our heritage. Just like Eddie and the Cruisers, this is a part of the Tony Mart heritage. This is a part of the Summers Point heritage. And we have a lot to say this summer, as you can tell. And I want everybody to know about it. And let's not forget Jersey Gumbo either. We got new chefs. That starts at 3 in the afternoon. It's a free, it's a totally free festival with all kinds of music. As I just described, all of those people will be performing at Jersey Gumbo. We'll talk a lot about that. Howard Isaacson, Danny Iyer, Bobby Ferguson, Billy Walton, plus Ben Levine's New Orleans Rhythm and Blues Band and Waylon Thibodeau. And so from 3 to 6, we'll taste the gumbo. At 7, we crown the gumbo king, the chef who is the Mardi Gras king of gumbo for this year. Last year, it was Chef David Goldstein from the American Federation of Chefs. And Gregory's won the People's Choice last year. So we've got about 10 or 12 chefs coming, more than last year. Jersey Gumbo, 3 o'clock. And it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I just want to say quickly that we are very grateful to Rich Gerber, our sponsor. And it's very, very important that you give Richard a call, 609-653-9101. Now is the absolute time. If you're 5, 10, 15 years from retirement, you need to start buying annuities. Right now, the rates are high, and you can lock in. You can lock into intermediate term. You can lock into stuff that'll start paying you in 5 to 10 years at high rates when the rates inevitably will go down. I mean, if the rates don't go down, it's going to be something really unusual and really weird, and I don't hope that on all of us. But rates have to come down. People have to be able to afford homes and cars, and I think that to lock into the annuities now with Rich Gerber, and he has all kinds of options, and he'll talk with you. He'll meet with you. Just call him, 653-9101. 609-653-9101. He's right in Linwood on Central Avenue, and you will be so happy. Plus, you can buy for the grandchildren. It's a win-win, and now is a really good time to do it. Well, I want to bring on now a very special guest, someone who is really the wind beneath our wings in so many ways. I've gotten to become so fond of this woman and respect what she does and the way she does it. Our City Council President, Janice Johnston. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Janice.
Oh, hi, Carmen. How are you today?
I'm really excited. We're very excited.
We're very excited. Looking forward to the summer.
Oh, yeah. Unbelievable lineup. All of the stuff I just talked about, and it just keeps going beyond that. But you were really very sharp and on the spot getting Steve Rogers over to us when he called and said, I'm interested in making a movie about the John Cafferty concert, Eddie and the Cruisers, on the beach in Summers Point. I thank you for that. What happened retrospectively there?
Well, they reached out. They reached out and were interested in. And at the time, I didn't really understand a whole lot of how big it was and how big this whole thing is going to be. My first conversations were just, let me get you to Carmen and get you to his group, and I'm sure, he'll take the ball and run with it. And I didn't realize how big it was, and now it's just amazing what's going to happen here this summer in Summers Point. What they're going to do, it's just going to be unbelievable. So,
and you are such a part of it, and you must be so proud. Now, what your third year as City Council President, Janice? Is that right?
Yes, my 6th year on council, but yeah, 3rd year as president. Yeah,
year on council. Wow. And I know you. I'm going to tell you guys out there, this woman works every day. She works more than she wants to work, taking care of that city. It's quite a responsibility. Janice, tell us a few of the things that are on the front burner, besides the fact that you're going to be there with us making the movie on Friday. Everybody can come and say hello to you over at Tavern on the Bay this Friday, the 21st, and then we'll be rocking with Billy Walton. But tell us what else you're doing.
Oh, it's just amazing, everything that's happening, all the interest in Summers Point and all the business owners and volunteers and everybody that's just stepping up. Even last night on the beach, I mean, it's pouring rain and everybody just kind of huddled together under their umbrellas and waited for it to pass and continued on with the party. It just speaks to how much people love what you do and the music that's here in our town. Not just on the beach. I mean, the beach is our big thing, but all of the other restaurant and bar owners have stepped up, and they all have music every week, and it's just a great place to be.
It is. Caroline, great people, beautiful view of the island. You know, Gregory's, Charlie's, since 44, Charlie's is there. You know, I mean, everybody, and you know, Gregory's and Diorio's and Crab Trap and all of these, every one of them are really great places. And, you know, it is about the support of the community, though, the way you and the police and everybody, you know, work together. Kirk Garrity, the Historic Society, that gives us an appeal. I think we're the most appealing historic town outside of Cape May along the coast. And that's all a part of it, too. I mean, and you see all of it, right?
Well, it's amazing what it takes to get it all done, and we're just so lucky to have all the people that we have on council and in City Hall, our employees and all our volunteers with all of our different groups. You know, we're doing different senior programs at our senior center, and we're, you know, our police department, we have a police athletic league now. They're doing all kinds of things for the kids. There's a fishing trip coming up next weekend. And it's people have just stepped up. Our historical society is amazing what they do, the events that they do, and the history that they get out there. They opened up the museum last week, and if you get a chance, you should definitely stop in there. It's just, the stuff is just really interesting, especially if you grew up here. You see things, and it just brings back really good memories. So
you were a big
we're just
part
really lucky. Yeah.
You were a big part of bringing that farmers market to town up on the beautiful perch there above where I used to play when I was a kid, Summers Mansion. That's a big plus every Saturday. What is it, 9 to 12 or something?
It's 8 to 12 every Saturday. I was there this morning, and it was packed. They have music playing. They have artists there displaying their work, as well as the produce and the food and the honey and the iced teas and all the arts and homemade soaps and candles, and it's unbelievable the stuff that's there. There's a sheep farm that brings us the cheeses every week and the fresh meats, and it's everything. I mean, I go every single Saturday, and I'm lucky that I can walk there. But it's just amazing. Rob Hopkins has been a big part of that, and his whole team, and the Patriots. They've all from the Summers Point Mansion. They've worked really hard to put all that together. And this year, I mean, we've almost doubled the number of vendors that we have. This is our third year, so you know, it took a while to get the word out, but it's a beautiful spot up there on the hill. There's always a beautiful breeze, and the view is amazing, and just a nice place to spend your Saturday morning, grab an iced coffee, and just walk around, and everybody's just so friendly, and it's just a great neighborhood community thing.
I, of course, talk to the music people, the party people, but I have so many people come up to me last night and say, yeah, we have a place in Ocean City. Yeah, Ocean City this, Ocean City. This is where it's happening over here because they feel it. You can feel it. You know, you can feel the legacy. You can feel the excitement. And leadership like you really is such a big part of it. And so many of the people we're talking about, you know, I like to point out the Chief Robert Summers. You know, he's a very strict law and order guy, but he loves the music. He loves the ambiance, and he's always there saying, okay, Carm, let's work this out. Let's do this. You know, and I just, you know, love the way Summers Point does that. You know, it's just, It's fantastic, man.
That's all the behind the scenes things that people don't think about. The police, the fires, and the first responders, and they're always there. Our public works is amazing. Getting everything set up and getting everything cleaned up afterwards, and they work really hard. And our chief is he's the kind of guy you want as your police chief because he does things right, and that's what you want. So. Yeah. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Carmen,
one thing I do want to mention. Yesterday was Flag Day, and yesterday morning, and I know, Circle Liquor is a big supporter of your show and amazing for our town here, but they just installed a huge new flagpole right in front of their store if you go by. And they had a little ceremony yesterday and dedicated the flagpole. We had some veterans there from the Legion and the VFW, and it was just such a nice. I'm still getting a chill just thinking about it. Just raising that flag, it's so beautiful. When you go by there, you'll see it right by the bridge.
I'm so glad you mentioned it. And we were there last week at the Customer Appreciation Day when they were giving out all kinds of stuff. But now a serious thing on Flag Day, you couldn't have a better business citizen than Circle Liquor Store. They give everything all the time to everybody. They
never say no. Yeah, they never say no. They're amazing partners for our city. So,
right.
But that flagpole is, you just look up and see that flag, and they couldn't put up the huge flag that they have, the bigger one, because it was too windy yesterday. But I think their plan is by July 4th weekend to have the even bigger one up there, and it's just amazing to look at. Yeah.
Oh, that's it's so cool. I love those people so much, and I really thank them for everything they do for everybody. We are able to help so many people at Tony Mart Cares because of the support they give us. They are one of our major sponsors in Atlantic City and in Summers Point here. They're always here for us. I want to thank Sir. I'm so glad you brought that up, Janice. Thank you. Thank you so much. So off we go. Nice. Off we go, and we've got a lot going on all the way through, right? I know you like Mardi Gras in July. We're going to have that Cajun Fiddler, and we're going to have Jersey Gumbo, and that's another thing that Summers Point stands right behind with us. And the Point is an amazing corporate citizen. $5,000 check to support the beach concerts.
Yeah. That's a beautiful venue right there. What they're doing there is amazing. The food's great, the service is great, and it's just a beautiful spot.
Right.
We're very lucky.
We are. Well, Janice, we're going to see you on Friday over at, and I want to thank Sam Trocchi for kicking in, providing a venue for us to have all these interviews, plus making a $2,000 donation to the Atlantic Care concerts on the beach. So
right. I know my husband's excited to tell his story, so he was here. So.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. For sure. All right. Well, listen, I got to wrap it up, but thank you so much. Do you have anything you'd like to share? I know you're working on so many things, and you don't like to just start reading off a list of all the things you're doing, but I know you're working on improvements all over the city, and you've got your groups and committees. Anything you want to share with us before I let you go?
Well, we're just going to start. You're going to start seeing some things come to fruition that we've been working on for a long time. We, thanks to our city engineer and our professionals, we've been able to secure a lot of huge grants that we don't have to use tax dollars for improvements to Shore Road and to the beach and to our roads. And so all of that is going to start coming to fruition. Some of it will get done this spring, and a lot of it will happen in the fall. But so you're going to start seeing all that, as well as some new development. You know, the paddle club should be breaking ground soon, and a couple new things on Bay Avenue. So we're excited about that. That there's so much interest in Summers Point. But you'll start seeing all that come to fruition. Unfortunately, it all takes a lot longer than you want it to. You know, you just want to get it done, but we have to do it right. So,
well, we are in demand. We are definitely in demand. People love being in Summers Point, and we love being Summers Point. And I want to thank you for being Summers Point. 3 years as council president, 6 years as service on city council. And, you know, I don't know if people realize you don't get paid very much at all for what you do, and you work so much. And I just want to thank you. And I'm looking forward to the party now for the next 2.5 months, right?
Absolutely. I'll be there.
Thank you, Janice.
Thanks,
Janice
Carmen.
Johnson, everybody. Thank you so much. And thank you. You are the one that put me with Stephen Rogers, and that's how this whole thing really started to get to the point where it's going to be quite a story. Thank you, Janice.
Okay. Have a good day, Carmen.
Take care. And I want to thank the Circle Liquor myself. They are our sponsors. It's important under that new big flag, Circle Liquor is open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day. 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, which means if you're out at a restaurant, you're having a couple of drinks, you're enjoying the music, the ambiance of Summers Point, and you need something, you can stop there up until 10 o'clock. It's not like some big inhuman kind of box store out on the pike somewheres. It's the Jersey Shore. It's the Circle Liquor Store. Over 80 years at the Jersey Shore, and we are very proud at Tony Mart's to have that affiliation with Circle Liquor Store and all the things that they do. It's really amazing how much they provide. And you can get so many things there, huge selections. And if over 200 bourbons and all of those single malt liquors and single barrel whiskeys and single malt scotches and all those exotic tequilas, and if that isn't enough, they will order it for you and they will get it because they get a great deal of stuff special ordered in 2 or 3 weeks right now. 2 or 3 days, not 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 days. And I want to remind you that they have a beautiful thing with the Tuscan wines right now. And the Montepulciano, perfect light red for the summer, the Montepulciano. And they have a red over there, a Montepulciano for about $30. That is world class. Vino Nobile. If you're a wine drinker, you know the Nobile, Vino Nobile de Montepulciano for about $30, a great deal. And if you want the white to go with the shrimp and the flounder, the Vino Orvieto Classico. Orvieto up on the mountain. We were there. It's a beautiful thing. We have so much going on. We want to thank you all. Just follow along at TonyMart.com. We'll have lots of T-shirts for everybody. And on behalf of my wife, Nancy Marotta, and the Summers Point Beach Concert Committee, who have been working so hard, we want to thank everybody for their support. And until we see you, and we will be seeing you, Remember, let the good times roll.
The preceding program was paid for and presented by Tony Mart Presents.